Hi there and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a review on the Superfish X-Pro 2000 aquarium filter. Well, the first part I will be talking about why I bought this filter. The second part would be the unboxing of this filter. I recorded that earlier, so maybe I'll say some things double, but you have to excuse me for that. And in the final part I will be showing the filter itself and how it's working in my fish tank. So the reason why I bought this is I have here a Dual 450, Dual Rio 450, excuse me, and I bought it of a Dutch version of eBay. It's second hand, and the man who owned it used an internal filter and the Eheim Experience 250. I thought it was not the most ideal setup, so I wanted to have an external filter, and preferably the biggest one there is. So I've been comparing this filter with many others. I went to like all the brands and see what they had, and checked out their specs. Checked out reviews online on reseller pages, and I went to various forums, checked out the experiences there, and finally I made the decision to buy this one. And I think this is like the only review you can find online, because nobody writes about the Superfish X-Pro. Now, to tell a little bit more about it, I used to own a Dual Vision 260 like 10 years ago, and when I bought it, it came with an Aqua Pro 2. It's also from Superfish, and I really liked the filter. It was quiet, it did this work pretty well. I used to have discus fish in it, and everything was working out fine. So when I decided to buy this one, I first started looking at Superfish. The second company I checked out was Eheim, because, or as the English would say, Eheim, but the Germans say Eheim, so that's why I keep saying Eheim. The Eheim, of course, is like the most known, well-known brand. It's a bit known as the Rolls-Royce under the aquarium filters. So I checked out them. I checked out Oasis, I checked out JBL, I checked out Tetra, Sarah, I checked them all. And so I wrote everything down. I almost made it like a sort of a science project, but like this is like the whole article I wrote just for myself. Anyway, so I made this list, and it's in Dutch, but here are the filters I thought was an option. Here you have the liters per hour. This says, but then in Dutch, how often it would do 450 liters within an hour. This is the liters of the canister itself. And then we have the filter volume in liters, for which aquarium it was supposed to be. Often this is pretty high, and the price is new. So as you can see here, these were the ones I was considering, and then you have the ones I was considering before, but then they dropped off out of the selection. They dropped out of the selection, and the last part would be the part that maybe spec-wise would come near the top line, but they didn't make it. Well, to talk a little bit through a couple of them, Fluval is getting more and more popular. But I didn't like it because the way they use their pre-filter, I don't really see that as a thing that works. And most importantly, the FX4 and the FX6, they will stop filtering every 12 hours to release air. And I thought that is a very weird way to make a filter. So one guy online said, and I don't know where he got the intel from, there was no source, but that it was a design flaw and this is how they solved it. Makes sense to me. I don't really want to have a filter that stops every 12 hours. The Syrah, they have also big filters, but I could hardly find any positive reviews on that one, so that was not an option. The Tetra EX Plus 1200 reviews, they were a bit sometimes they were positive, sometimes they were negative. When I was searching for a longer time, I found more negative than positive ones, but there were still also positive ones. For me, that was a decision to drop it as an option. The Oase Biomasters were just too small. Same goes for this lot. So the Superfish, like one size smaller. The second to one largest JBL, and the Professional 3, 4, and the Classic 600. Now, about Eheim, it is known as like the best brand, but then we're talking about the Classic, because the Professional line, I can find a lot of negative reviews on that. Building quality, not the best. When I was looking at the Dutch version of eBay, it's called Marktplaats. Like within a couple of days, I could find 5 to 6 examples of a Professional 3 line that had something broken off. Nothing too serious. Maybe a switch here, maybe a little bit a part of a foot or what they stand on. Nothing too serious, but still, things breaking off of a Rolls Royce. It's weird. Anyway, when I was also looking at some forums and websites of when I was looking on websites of clubs that hold or own aquariums, they often have the Classic, and the Classic has been around for many years. It tested itself and proven itself over the many years. So this would be an option. Well, if Eheim is the Rolls Royce, I would say JBL would be the Bentley. They are slightly less pricey, and on all the forums you can never do bad when you say the name Eheim. But you can also never do bad when you say JBL. It's like everybody accepts those two brands, and when you come with a different one, people sometimes say like, that's shitty quality. And when I was looking for the reviews on the Superfish X-Pro, I couldn't find any reviews online. And when I was looking on the forums, it was mostly negative, but then only of hearsay. Nobody really had their own experience saying like, well, this broke off or this wasn't working. So based on hearsay means nothing to me. And those who were defending Superfish all had the same one I had, like the Aqua Pro series, the old series that's from like 10 years ago. And some say these things were leaking water after some time. I never had this problem, and most people were just very happy with this one. So it comes from China, or well, it's Dutch. It's been sold everywhere, but it's Dutch. It's made in China, so prices are a little cheaper. I eventually was looking at this one, the JBL 1902. which is 80 euros more. It uses a little bit less electricity, and they say it's more quiet. And I was looking at the Aheims. Well, they are definitely in a different league when you look at the prices. Look here, 325 against 140. So I was looking at those second hand, and eventually didn't choose to take these because being second hand and being there already for a very long time, they're made for years and years. It could be that you buy a 10-year-old filter. This comes with a 3-year warranty and a 20-hour service. So if you happen to have a problem, you can go back to your dealer, and within 24 hours you will have a new one. I'll say that's a very good warranty to me. So therefore this one. So I have here the Superfish X-Pro 2000. I couldn't find any reviews online on this filter, so I bought it myself, and I thought I'll make a review so that everybody knows how it's working, how it's looking. To me it really looks a lot like the All Plant Solutions and the Sun, the big ones. It's also white. It has these clasps, and I wouldn't be surprised if it all comes out of the same factory in China. But well, I couldn't find any bad reviews either, and as you know, people are usually very eager to share their bad experience much rather than their positive ones. So I'm gonna give it a go. You'll see it in this video later. First do some unpacking. I've opened it already before. Like, here's the box. It came in a plastic bag. Next to it there's another box that was inside. Here you find all the tubing, the inlet, the outlet, all the other tubing. Oh yeah, and so in this filter you have these baskets. I'll open it now. So I bought it a couple of days ago, and it's March 2020. This thing is made in 2018 on the 5th of May. So it has been standing in the shop for quite some time. I did notice that there is some grease on the top. I'll take that off when I start using it. So first you got this protection. Oh. Next up, like Aheim, how the Germans say it, or how the English and Americans say it, Eheim. Aheim has these baskets you can pick up. This one uses, well, 2 fingers is also possible, but the first one is filled with carbon, and then it has this on it. I tried to open that one, but it didn't work. The second one, it came with this. Now, as you know, there are always 2 versions of this. The first one is ceramic tubes, and the other one is sintered glass. I checked it online. This is sintered glass. So this will be your biological filtering. Then it came with this. I'm sorry, this was in the last one. these plastic balls, well, if you do a little research online, this is never biological filtering, only your mechanical filtering. And since they are so large, I'll try to put them in the bottom. And in this one, I already changed it a bit. It came with fiber, like these pads, and I can show them. One sec. So it came with three different. Well, to me they're actually the same. So there's a blue one, which is supposed to be the medium one, but it looks kind of fine to me. Then there's this one, which is definitely also a fine. And then there's a third one, which is also fine. It was in every tray, but well, as you know, that's not the proper way of using your filter. So I took a coarse down here and then a medium on top. I will try to get some of the balls in the bottom. I saw that they can't move anymore because this one will just like, okay, I'll show that as well. If you put this one in, they can't move, but it will stop the flow and catch the biggest muck. So I'll throw a couple of these balls in, then I'll do this one. I bought a lot of Cera Cyperax, put that one in all the other trays, and I end with this one. This would be good because I just bought Dual Rio 450 and took the internal filter out. It's over there. I'm gonna use this one, and next to it I also own an Eheim or Eheim Experience 250. It came with this one. So I'll be using two filters. Okay, first up will be the cleaning, and then preparing all the trays, and then I'll let you know how I think it works. One sec. So now we've unpacked this one. I've been running it for a couple of days. I have the jet stream on. As you can see, it moves the water quite thoroughly. I have on this side the Eheim Experience, always also moving up. I had it moving down first, but there's a lobster in the tank now, so I'll have it moving up. And here's a stream going that way, and some bubbles. So I don't know if you can hear this, but most of the noise comes from the bubbles. Here's the tank, or the filter I should say, sorry. It's a bit dark. See if I can put some light here. One sec, I'll turn off the pump, the air pump. So, okay. So here's the pump. As you might hear, there's a hum, like a zooming sound. Go like zzz. Nothing too crazy. I think it's quite okay. We're having it in the dining room, so here you can hear it. If I sit in the living room, I can hardly hear. I can't hear the filter. I do hear the air pump, and also hear the water going up, but that's about it. So yeah, that's that. I'm pretty pleased with this. And now you can see again. Very much pleased with this one. I've also checked out like how many liters an hour it's really doing. So as you may know, when companies put out these numbers, they do it without anything in the filter itself. So usually these numbers are lower than what it says on the box. Sometimes they do it with their own filter stuff in it, but usually it's just with an empty filter. So I checked it myself. As you saw in the second part, I put on in some filters of myself. There is Superfish in the filter for two trays, and the top tray has the carbon that comes with it. I've tested the speed, the liters an hour, by taking this bucket, take this jet stream out of the aquarium, put it into the bucket. I took like this part off, so it was just flushing, water was coming down into the bucket, waited till I reached 10 liters and took a timer. It did it in 36 seconds, which comes on, it equals to 1,000 liters an hour. So that will be half of what it says on the box. It's good to remember this, that when you put in the more thicker filter pads, of course the pump gets slower. And I used the Superfish, which also has it takes a lot of streaming out of the water, so it becomes slower. It does only 1,000 liters an hour. Luckily I still have another filter that's over here. It came with all these. I'm not using that because it's going to be a Malawi fish tank. This one you can't hear at all, but it's also a much smaller filter. And together with this, I'm still doing more than two times an hour, all the water filtered. Well, that wasn't a good English sentence, but you understand. So all in all, I'm very happy that I bought this one, and I can only recommend it to you guys. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments and I'll be happy to reply. Thanks for watching, and I hope it was helpful. Bye bye.